Just click on when you're ready to be added, Richard, and hopefully, Richard, Simon, and Casey will. There's Richard in his motor, apparently cruising the streets of Stoke, picking up young boys again.
Oh, I'm parked because the prostitutes can't get to you when you're moving.
I suppose being an ex-copper, you would know that you can't drive and phone at the same time.
Oh, you're waiting on the Northerner, the honorary Northerner.
We're waiting for that soft piece of shite, fucking Casey. How come I can't add?
You requested.
I've invited them. I keep pressing go live with Inferno Ministers. I've pressed. Is unable. Inferno is unable
He's
to
here now.
join.
Here he is. The fake Northerner's here. Be with you ASAP. Oh.
Honestly, man, I don't know how his missus puts up with that. Like putting his son into crazy haircuts and. There he is. There, he's looking fresh-faced and balding. So he's welcome to the club.
Am I on? Oh yeah, yo.
Yeah, you're on.
All right,
Yeah, you're on.
guys.
Hello.
How we doing?
Not bad. How are you,
Yeah,
Richard?
good. Super stoked to be invited. Thanks very much.
Well, no worries.
Just waiting on Casey, who's up north.
Oh yeah, he's in my own city. He's literally where I live.
Could have just come round your house and done it.
No, I said that. Come round for a brew. I'll sort you out.
All this. I haven't got internet. He could just come round your house.
Yeah, he could have done, couldn't he?
I could have.
Absolutely.
You could have done a side-by-side. That'd have been brilliant.
So how's tricks then? All right.
Yeah, man. How's tricks for yourself?
Yeah, not
Good.
too bad.
Yeah, good. Is this the first one then?
Yeah.
Exciting times.
We've had the.
Where are you? Are you in a car?
I'm supposed to be teaching the game of Star Wars on Mortar at Boltstorm after I double boot myself. So I'm literally in a car park.
It's rock and roll. Absolutely rock and roll.
And I still made it on time.
Do you know what I mean?
Ace didn't.
And it's not as if we did this last minute. He's known for about a month that we're doing this.
You got to have one fashionably late though, surely.
In Southerners, huh? Londoners, huh?
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely.
There's a Wilco behind me.
Aren't they shutting down? Don't get some cool sales stuff.
No, is it Wilco? It is Wilco, isn't it? Yeah.
Go get some craft stuff.
Yeah, come down what stories dead keep the park on what we're going to do if they close.
You'll be trapped forever in a hell of Wilco.
Hello, Rage Exile. How are you? Thank you for joining.
Still waiting.
Right, so how long do we give this fucking prick?
He's always the same. I'll be on this time. I'll be on this. He's either late or he starts earlier than he said he was going to, and then says he can jump on. Yeah, it is Wilco. You're right. There's a home bargains down there as well, so hopefully the car park will stay open. It's £2 all day.
Bit of craft stuff, bit of cleaning gear. You're laughing.
Yeah, £2 all day parking, multi-story in Leek, Staffordshire. If you
in the area, I'll bear that in mind.
In the area, it's just £2 all day.
That is a life hack right there.
That's a bargain in this economy.
I'm banking that one. Absolutely. Get some creosote for paints for his fences.
Yeah.
He'll be on offer.
There is actually a back door from Boltstorm into Wilco, so you can literally go out the back of Boltstorm and walk straight into Wilco. It's amazing.
Perfect.
It's not going to be any good when they close down.
No, but at the moment,
it's really good. Fancy a can of bottles walk across there.
Yeah, perfect.
Is he even still in the stream?
I don't know.
I think I was.
No, he's not. He's gone. He's literally come in, said he was backing him in, and then gone.
Probably getting raped or something.
Again,
That's how he had his kid.
Yeah.
What, he got raped?
Well, she's from Sunderland, so like, you know what I mean? Like,
She's much harder than he is.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather take
He
her
said
any
it was
battle than.
consensual, you lying bastard.
I think if it came to it, I think I'd rather take her into battle because Penge would definitely be late, so I may as well take her into battle.
Yeah, that's it.
Too busy braiding his son's hair, buying him the living bag. Right, we've got 11 people now in the stream, and no one's asking any questions because we're still waiting on Casey.
Yeah, no, keep them waiting. Build the tension.
No, they keep going on.
Oh, right.
They just keep going.
Okay.
Why are these three bearded wankers just chatting shit? I thought
Nothing different there, then. The difference is there's still three of us. It's just one of them's a different face, that's all.
People are fucking hell, man. Casey's fucking really changed over the last since the last stream that we've done.
Yeah, he's a lot better looking and funnier.
he's got a northern accent.
Yeah.
He was from London last time.
Yeah, it's the way you tell him, it's the accent.
Ray Jackson, we actually don't know where Casey is. He's somewhere. Don't know. He's probably.
That's true, Jack. He would turn up with a sword and a shield made out of a fence.
Yeah, brilliantly creosoted, no doubt.
He's probably wanking over a fence. That's probably what he's doing.
Yeah, up north somewhere. I like it. It's sort of a niche website waiting to happen, that, isn't it?
You know what? I think
keep looking in the car park to see if anyone dodgy's gonna like try and mug me on stream.
Or start filming
you
from outside the car, not from inside.
It'd be like those fake taxi videos that I've heard about but never seen. It'll be
Never
like
seen
fake...
yourself personally, yeah.
Yeah. Are you that guy from Fake Taxi? No.
I do drive a car which is mistaken for a minicab all the time.
Right, I'm just going to kick off here because we could be sitting here till next fucking week waiting for Casey.
All right.
So I just want to say to everybody, this is like the first of a month or two of doing like podcast interviews with people within the hobby. So I'm more than happy to introduce my co-host and former, stock fan, Just Your Average Painter, and a special welcome to Inferno Miniatures. He's a commissioned painter. He sometimes does work for Green Stuff World, and he's taken a lot of advice off myself to improve his painting. Jokes aside, like this guy,
now without dunk, that's a fact.
This guy's an absolute legend for myself in the last year and a half in the hobby. Like I always reach out to him, and he's always really good at giving back advice. So I just want to say a big thanks for accepting our invitation into this Inferno, or Richard, as I've known you by. So I just want to give yourself a brief description about yourself and how you got into the hobby and where you started.
Yeah, so for me, it was, I used to do it as a kid. I'm a teenager, sort of late 90s. So it was, Blood Bowl, Necromunda, a little bit of 40k. And I discovered girls and smoking and drinking, and it all kind of went to pot. And then COVID, really. I've got a friend that works in a sort of second-hand toy shop. He was trying to get Games Workshop into the shop. So he blagged Games Workshop to send him a tester pack, brought it round to my house, and it had your box. It had the first strike box in, the 40k box. And we bought some Alfred's undercoat and some £1 acrylic, sat at the kitchen table, looked up some Google videos, and that's how it started, literally a couple of years ago. And for me, it just, totally nostalgic, realised how much I loved it, and then got on Instagram, and then it just spiralled. I think that was the thing when I first got into it. You didn't have the internet. It was a painting guide and going to your local store. But this time round, it was loads of people in the same boat, nothing better to do. I think there's been a massive resurgence in it because of COVID. A lot of people have jumped back into the hobby. So I was part of that bubble, I think, of coming back in. And yeah, that's how it started. It was just kitchen table, handful of quid paints, painted the minis in the box, and here we are.
I used to sit
He's also
in the
managed to
carpet.
make it.
I used to sit in the same car but in opposite ends.
It's just
You're
like
walking each other off.
Isn't that Carl Early?
No, I'm in a caravan site, mate.
It's a fence! It's a fence! Oh, by a fence!
Plastic one, don't count.
Are you still in York?
I'm up the other side of it. I'm sort of above Hull, place called Skipsea.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely, isn't it? Beautiful part of the world.
Not how I'd sort of call it, but it's quite nice, yeah. Lots of people from Leeds everywhere. I don't quite get it, but yeah.
Good time in York?
Yeah, blinding time at York, mate. The lad got to see the train museum and all of that, so he was living his best life.
Cool.
So yeah, cheers, mate.
So, Richard, just to get back to you, just talk about Penge, because he's trying to make it about himself, but it's never.
He's just come in and he's made it all about himself. He's cut you off mid-sentence. Sitting by his fence. He's 10 minutes late. Typical southerner.
All good.
Bedtime, bruv. They're putting the lad down. Sorry.
Were you putting his hair in curls and so it's nice and curly in the morning?
Stopping a woman from doing that, actually. I walked in there, she was mid-flat. It's like, what are you fucking doing? Stop it. Jesus. I don't know.
So you said, Richard, that you got into the hobby when you were a teenager. Like, did you? Yeah. Was it like Hero Quest or Space Crusade, or was it like
all that? Yeah, I had Space Crusade and Advanced Space Crusade, Hero Quest. You know, they were like big Christmas presents back in the day. You know, but yeah, that was the era. That's when I was into it. So Space Hulk, the original Space Hulk, and you know, Blood Bowl, and that's when I was into it as a kid. You know, where you ordered the miniatures out the back of White Dwarf. You know, it was all black and white pictures. You filled the little form in, went out with all your mates because you couldn't afford the postage. Got one model and painted it badly. You know, regretted saving up 6 weeks pocket money, all that. So yeah, good times.
And tell me that's like, did you have Battle Masters back in the days? Well, you had a big, like, it was a huge fucking mat. I remember getting that, and it was like a huge mat, and then you had like it was all in like. I think I've still got some of it somewhere, but it was massive. It was a massive playmat. It was like bigger than a Subbuteo fucking felt pad. Did you have that?
Where you had like the was it crossbows and catapults? Do you remember that? Wasn't Games Workshop?
Yeah.
But it was like same sort of thing. And you fired red and blue things across. That was pretty cool. And Ghost Castle. Games Workshop should do Ghost Castle. I'd buy it definitely.
I remember that.
Yeah.
That was.
Still got the skull from Ghost Castle somewhere. I might add it to an undead model, see if anybody notices.
Yeah, like Battle Masters was a big, like, kind of PVA plastic mat, and it had like a terrain in it, and you had like chaos, like infantry and horses, and then you had like the man at arms of Kislev, and you had like a kind of tower in the middle, and you had a cannon.
I remember Battle Masters, to be fair. But if it was at the same sort of time, I either just missed it or got it just after, but I don't remember Battle Masters. But it was that sort of era, I think. It must have been.
Well, but yes, I mean, you must have remembered back in the day when it was like crossbows and horses back in the day, because you're the oldest at all.
Yeah, no, that's how it was brought up north.
I was at Argentine, I lived it, mate. I
killed my first crossbow at 8. You know, killed my first tea at 9, or dinner, whichever you lads call it. You know.
I remember Battle Masters. I never had Battle Masters because my parents were poor, but I do remember it.
But you had some foam and a giant mat.
Yeah, we just like
and your imagination.
Went outside and made bows and arrows out of like garden canes and string, and then just swatted each other with sticks.
While rolling massive dice and going, right,
yeah,
it's my turn, get the massive.
Yeah, that's what we did.
I actually played Warhammer. Couldn't afford Warhammer up north. We just played it.
That was that. We just like, yeah, when Co-op used to give cardboard boxes away for free. That's how we used to build the fort.
Yeah, it's a
well,
long
boxes gone.
And I imagine you yourself, Casey, being a Londoner, you would have been tripping over Warhammer back in your house. Being a Londoner, living in London, living where all the money is, you'd have been tripping over in Warhammer.
Was I fuck, mate? No, I didn't get into it till like 18 when I had my own money. But it completely skipped me as a kid. Like, I remember going into a Games Workshop in Bradford on a school trip once, and it was like mid-second edition, because I remember they had like the millions of Gretchen that all looked exactly the same, all exactly the same pose. But
Just
I
different
didn't get
feel.
into this stuff. You know, I got into all of this stuff because my sister, when she was in college, this bloke wanted to bang her, and he thought the best way to do it was to become mates with me, and he kind of groomed me into
He's
Warhammer, and
got
then he
lots of
didn't get to,
answer for.
yeah, he didn't get to bang my sister, but
Did
somehow
he get
I've
to
ended up forking
bang
out
you?
loads of money on plastic
Did they,
crack.
did they bang you?
Yeah.
Uh,
No,
Did he bang you instead?
he just learned how to read a codex.
he did fuck me over, but not in that way.
It's a good second prize, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, I'm living to regret it to this day. But
some epic scale.
no, but like Simon was saying, like, just it was what it was. When you're playing games, you're just going out and twatting each other with sticks. Hang on, the missus is coming out to the car to say hello. Come on, say hello.
Why?
Oh,
Hey, man.
You said I get better signal in the car.
I didn't think you'd actually spend a night on holiday in the car on your phone on Instagram.
You can lean in and say hello.
Would you like a beer?
No, I'm all right, thank you.
We would.
Hello.
All right.
Oh, you're well punching, Casey. She's bagging, man. Are you fucking giving her a handle every night?
Have you not seen it before?
No.
The caravan gets locked at 9.
All right.
Hey.
The car's more fucking comfortable. That's fine. Fucking
Could have said yes to
caravan.
that beer, because that's the only beer, that's the only thing you're going to be getting all night tonight.
So,
It's the only thing I've had for a while is a beer, so it's all right.
Get her into Warhammer, that might work.
huh?
No, I've
That's
tried.
it.
She
So, like,
complains I don't have enough pink in my paint pots, so it's like, no, it's not my colour scheme, love. Sorry.
so, like, Richard and Simon, like, I know, like, I used to paint minis, like, when I was younger. Like, I think I spilt more paint on my mum's floor than I actually got in, like, any, like, Warhammer, like, Hero Quest or Space Odyssey figures. But do you notice a big difference between the paints of the early to mid 90s to now? Like, there's a big difference now. Would you know? Agree with that?
Yeah, no, totally. Go on,
yeah.
Sam.
Colour-wise, definitely. They're a lot more, how can I put it, neon in the 80s and 90s. Everything was a lot brighter than it is now.
I just mean, like, I remember, like, I'm trying to put together, like, a sort of 90s classic kill team. So I've got, like, Lehman Russ, Tycho, you know, Commissar Yarrick, and I'm going to put them all on one base. So I was just looking at, like, the old heavy metal, you know, and you look at, like, what I'm trying to kind of say is, like, you look at the pictures of those now, and, like, they were amazing back then, you know, like, mind-boggling. And now I think, like, you can achieve that, you know, like, probably, you know, the good painting of the late 90s, you can sort of get a similar effect because the models are better and the paint's better and the tutorials are better, and, you know, it's easier to achieve now. And I think, you know, there's so many cool tools out there, and I think there's a lot of sort of, not snobs out there, but, you know, if there's an easy way to do something, I'm all for it. Like, you know, if it'll dry brush and look the same, do it. You know, if there's a dip in ink or a contrast paint or a metallic paint, you know, why are you undercoating it silver and putting 15 coats or whatever on? Just use the tool. It's not cheating, is it? You know, so I think, you know, there's loads of cooler ways to get similar effects now that people really need to sort of just bite the bullet, get into a bit of contrast, do a bit of dry brushing. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I definitely think the likes of, like, YouTube and obviously Instagram has definitely made the hobby a lot more accessible, because, like, back in the day, you just basically went off for the box cover art and you basically just made up your imagination. If you had a mate that was decent at painting, you would ask him to, like, maybe give you a wee pointer here and there. But I think now with the web everywhere, like, looking at your work, like, how did you get into the commission game? Like, was it through Instagram that people started reaching out to you, or was it like friends first and it just grew from there?
Exactly that. I mean, I sort of had this mantra of, yeah, it's a hobby, it's really good fun, but I've always been fairly driven, so I always set myself like these little goals, you know, personally about, what I wanted to achieve, how I wanted to go about it. So like when I first started, I was like, just buy the big models. Because I remember as a kid, you'd paint like a whole squad of Marines and you'd never get to the captain because you didn't want to wreck it because it was such a cool model. Or you'd save all your characters till the end. And I just think you never felt like you were, well, personally, I never felt like I was good enough to sort of paint those really top-end models. So this time round, I was like, I'm just going to paint Marty. I'm just going to paint whatever the big stupid model is, and I'll watch the tutorials, and surely it'll be a steeper learning curve painting the harder models. Mm-hmm. So I really like doing non-box art stuff. So I did a load of stuff that was alternative schemes, mad colours. And then I used the Duncan Rhodes tutorial for that Marty, start to finish, paint by paint, an exact copy. And, I was really proud of that. And then some guy just messaged me saying, is it for sale? And I said, no, but I can do you one. And then he said, well, I want airbrushed wings on it. I'd never used an airbrush, so I bought an airbrush and had a go. And also, I was very, very fucking cheap when I started. So I think that had a lot to do with it. I was just keen to get the work, so I bought a lot of work when I started. He wanted that paint. I think I charged him 70 quid for, a month's work or whatever. Got the postage all wrong because it went to the States. It probably ended up costing me money. But I wasn't bothered. It was nice he wanted something painting, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that led on to a few more. He's had 3 or 4 off me, and I'm doing the Lion for him next, actually. And then another one, someone wanted a load of Space Marines doing for a website, and they just wanted the founding chapters done tabletop standard. So I think I charged them 25 quid a Marine. I painted them all to character standard, put all heads on them rather than helmets. So I think back then I was buying work and just wanted to paint commission and loved painting for other people, and because I don't game as much as I used to or at all, it was nice that other guys wanted the work to either game with or display. So, and I like working under a deadline, so it just totally suited me. And then as time marched on, I just started doing a bit more, charging a bit more, and started being a bit more picky.
And do you feel as though that's brought your painting on a lot quicker, doing it that way, than it would be if you were just doing
absolutely.
it?
It's not saying no. If somebody wanted something doing, it wouldn't be. I'd always try and pick a model that I wanted to paint rather than just saying yes to everything. So I got a free model, and then we'd discuss it with what do you want, and I'd be like, let's do something different. So I did Corvus, and I did him with like white armor, and he really went for that idea. I'd never painted white before in my life. I mean, I freaking did that model about 4 times getting that armor right. So yeah, the learning curve and having that bit of pressure, like the airbrush with Morty's wings, doing Corvus in white, the Space Marine commission for a website, it did really, shoot my painting standard up really quickly. And plus as well, if you don't play, what do you do with them? I'm not vain enough to have a cabinet in my front room to bore my friends who are into football about it. So it was nice to pass them on and let other people use them. And I really like that. And that's sort of a little bit more selfishly, it was nice to paint something that someone liked and they were getting their enjoyment, or to think it was on a battlefield somewhere. I quite like that. It was actually getting used. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm going to have to shoot. Love you and leave you because I'm conscious that there's people waiting for me in the shop.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, and maybe
next week I won't double book myself, so I'll be available for the entire stream.
No worries, man. Thanks for joining us.
Make sure you save it, Dunk, so I can watch the rest when I get home.
Yeah, I'll try if I know how to do that.
Just follow me.
Yeah, it tells you when you're done, so don't worry.
Right, see you later.
See you later.
Yeah.
So is it just like, I know it's like models that are you happy enough now to branch into models that like you've never seen before? Is it still predominantly Games Workshop stuff that you're doing?
I mean, I did do some stuff for like an Australian board game called Traders Galaxy. I don't know if you've seen that on the feed, and it's based on like sort of 80s Transformers. So I did a bit of work for those, and I've done one of the Nico busts. So I have tried a few other bits and pieces, and it's not that I don't dislike. I did the Dreadnought for Kit Bash Guy as well, which that was. I mean, that is still sort of 40k based. It's not a Games Workshop model. But, it's not for want of not wanting to. But, you've only got so many hours in the day, and the Games Workshop stuff's just so cool, isn't it? And it's what everybody likes. It's what we're all talking about. It's what I'm into, and that's why I paint it, because I like it. So, it's not that I don't dislike other models, but, time's the hardest thing to carve out, isn't it, in this hobby? Is finding the time. So I think you just got to pick what you want to paint rather than, you know, you've got to try new things. But I just like the Games Workshop stuff. It's awesome, isn't it?
And talking about time, like, how do you find that balance? Because obviously, like, you're a husband, you're probably a father to about 15 Wayne's been from it because you're English. And
That's how I find time. I don't have kids. I think that's what it is. So I am
you also work as well. So,
yeah,
but how do you make time?
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
and are your clients understanding of like time restraints and
yeah,
like,
I've got to say it whenever I sign up with somebody. I always say the same. Look, I don't do this for a job. I can take the work on, but I can't really give you a time scale, and I'll charge you accordingly. You know, I'll probably be a little bit cheaper than most of the commission painters, but if you can wait, I can do it. You know, that's what I've always said. So, you know, it might be that a painting studio would knock something out in a week. It might take me 2 months, that, because it's an hour every other night and then a day of the weekend, you know. So, but yeah, that's it. You've got to manage your time, and I'm lucky with the customers that I've had where even when they've run over, they've been sound.
Oh, that's brilliant. And like the reason I got to know your page was through, like, you've done a couple of competitions. Like, what was the kind of reasoning behind running like the painting competitions? Because that's how me and Casey connected. Because like me and Casey were against each other in one of your competitions last year, and I always try and make it myself to be a bit of fun, and always like.
Yeah.
As you know, I always try and characterise my miniatures like Barry the Icon Bearer. Well,
yeah. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. You've nailed it. It's like I was saying. Like, I've always sort of had these weird little goals as I've painted, whether it's to learn something or to achieve something. And you know, in the community, I just really wanted to take part in a competition. So I found this competition, convinced someone else to enter it, and it was on a guy's site that did like military stuff. So his main thing was all historical. But he said you can enter anything. So me and my mate entered, you know, I put Morty in, he put, I can't even remember, just for argument's sake, a space marine. And I was up against like a Panzer tank in my round. And he was up against like, you know, Trench from World War II or World War I or whatever. So, you know, I went out in the first round, and that was it really. I was like, not if you want a job do it yourself, but I just thought I could come up with a more sort of inclusive way of doing it and try and keep it community based. Get everyone to vote for it, let everybody enter and open. And I just thought, you never see the studios or the lesser account pages enter. So I direct messaged hundreds of people in studios saying, you know, I'm going to do this, jump on. And that's kind of how the first one started. And bizarrely, it sort of fell on my honeymoon. So we just got married. And I only had internet in the hotel, and on my honeymoon I had to be back in the hotel room for 6 o'clock so I could edit all the photos to put the next round of the Chaos Open up. Do you know what I mean? And then it just escalated from there. So the next one I did a under 500 accounts one, which what I thought was foolishly, naively, that if you're under 500 followers, that you had not very good, but you're new to the hobby. What it meant was you had loads of really good painters that just didn't have the followers. So the quality of the 500 or less was as good, if not better, than the Open. And that was a real big eye-opener. And then I was about to do a pro one. And that's when I kind of got signed up with Green Stuff World. So I had to just sort of knock all current projects on the head till I got that. That sort of took my focus. But we are in talks about doing another one. That's why I've gone all quiet. So I tried to do 1 or 2 a year. And we're talking about it. We're going to do a Green Stuff one, I think. I mean, that's between me, you, and the 3 other people that are watching. But, you know, hopefully we've talked about it, and it'll be something that I'm not abandoning by any stretch. Because I'm paying for Green Stuff now, you know, that's sort of taking up a lot of my time. And we're saying finding the time's hard. So I used to do a lot of, like, community spotlight stuff, you know, the competitions, the giveaways, and that's all coming back. I'm just sort of doing a couple of commissions and focusing on this for the next couple of months, but it's not going anywhere, and they'll be back by all means. And it's the most enjoyable time for me doing the comps, because it just gives everybody in the hobby somewhere to focus for a couple of weeks. And it is like I met, helped me paint, you know, the guy who I ran the second competition with. You know, he's one of my good mates on here. You know, I met him on through that. I met loads of people through the comps, and that's been my biggest builder for finding like-minded people who I chat to on the regular. Is the comps, not so much the painted. It's more the community activities are the ones that really make make the friendships. Do you know what I mean?
And I'm so glad that you mentioned the green stuff, because that's why we're going to kind of segue into that, and you've mentioned it for myself. So, how did your collaboration with Green Stuff World? How did that happen?
Well,
how did that come about?
I'll be honest. A good friend of mine, Stuart at Grim Boutique 26. When he dropped day one on Instagram, and he had 5 followers, I just loved his style. Like something about his style, this sort of neon comic book, sort of over stylized photographs, just really blew me away. And from day one, I've always said the same: you don't have to be the best painter in the world. If I like something, I really tag onto it and try and champion it. So I did with him. I just jumped on him, promoted him at every single point. And then he was my first ever sponsor in the first comp I did. I asked him, would you give a free painting lesson out? And he said, yeah. So he supported me. I picked him up. He was doing Patreon and all that. And then we kind of went through this journey together. And then all of a sudden, he was on Green Stuff World as a full professional, and he's in charge of the UK team. And I was doing, last year I did, I think 9 months out of 12 commission work. And I wasn't, be human about it. I was like, how do I monetize this? If I'm painting 11 months to 9 months of the year without me doing Patreon or something where I have to leave Instagram, is there a way I can monetize it or just get a bit of something back? It'd be great to do it for a job, wouldn't it? We'd all love that.
Yeah.
So I just sent him a message saying, how did you go about it? And he said to me, got something in the works. I'm putting a UK team together. How do you fancy it? And that was it. So he approached me. But we sort of had that bond from day one where we helped each other out and had the same mantra and the same, it was, and I mean, I think I've earned it, I've put my work in and all the rest of it, but I think a lot of it was the stars aligned, right place, right time, engaged with the right people, and, here I am. I'm not the best painter on the team, but I think they're kind of like that as well. You know what I mean? It's, it's good. It's really exciting. I still pinch myself, to be honest, that I'm doing it, but yeah, it's good.
And
so yeah, they got in touch with me is the short answer.
And how often do you like get together, like, and work out projects between yourselves? Like,
well, at the moment I've only been there like 2.5 months, so I speak to him 2, 3, 4 times a week on a regular. They just let you do what you want. I mean, it's so cool. They're like, just send me some content, do what you want. Here's some gear, get on with it. There's no. The thing I sort of was struggling with is I didn't want to come across like I was selling a product or painting what they wanted me to paint. I was really conscious of that. But also, I wanted to be honest. I wanted to be like, well, look, I'm sponsored by these guys. The paint is cool, and I am going to tell my followers about it. And it's this fine line, I think, between coming across as I'm painting all this with Green Stuff Worlds, blah, 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 when it's genuine. It's genuine. I asked them to send me some paints before I started. I didn't just jump in feet first for the paint and be like, do you want me to just paint Space Marines for you? So what's really funny is the stuff that I did last year, all the commission stuff, was probably a little bit cooler. But when I signed up for Green Stuff World, they're like, paint what you want. So I just went through my pile of shame. So if you look at my feed, it's like such random models. There's like a Tau, a vampire, an undead, there's this. And all I'm doing is like getting the toy box out and going, I've just not had time to paint any of this. So they're really cool. You don't really have a routine with them. They're like, send us some content whenever you can and paint what you want to paint. They're very much like community, product sell. Like, you obviously have to sell the product, but they're so cool with just letting you get on with whatever you want to do. I'm not a Golden Demon winner, but I think they kind of like that. It's more, you can identify with it more if you're a normal guy just painting models, I suppose. But they're just great. It's really cool, and it's given me loads more freedom. But obviously, being a tight Yorkshireman, I have just taken on another commission because I need some more money. But yeah, no, it's been great. The journey's crazy. I can't believe where I am. From the first post to the comps to now being semi-pro, I suppose. It's just been mind-boggling.
And obviously, I think when we all start out, same as yourself, Casey, like, we all obsess over Citadel paints. Yeah. So I imagine it was a bit of maybe a bit of trepidation going from Citadel, a well-established, to something that you probably didn't work with as much as probably you would have did with Citadel. Would that be right?
no, totally. I mean, that's the biggest thing. If you Citadel all your life, you know the names, you know which paints go with which, and then all of a sudden you're like, right, get rid of all that and start using this. So it's this overwhelming thing that you've got all these paints in front of you where you don't know the names, you don't know the colours. And I used a lot of scale paint as well. So I had scale and Citadel, a little bit of Valero. So I wasn't, you know, I didn't just stick to Citadel, but, you know, I'm not going to lie, right next to my painting desk, I have all my favourite Citadel paints. And what I have to do is I have to cross-reference, you know, I'll be honest. So I've kept all my Citadel paints. And what I do is I'm like, right, I want Nighthawk Gloom. And I have to offer it up to all the Green Stuff World bottles till I find it. Or you have to mix a few things. You know, they haven't got absolutely everything Citadel have, but they've got so many other things. It's the same as anything. And I mean, as soon as you start learning the names again and you realise that a lot of the paints are either similar or better, you know, that's the hard thing, is changing from the routine of having cornflakes every morning. You know, have some toast once in a while. It's really hard to get off the train. And I don't think if someone had given me a full set of paints, I wouldn't have crossed over so quickly. But, you know, the stuff you find when you sort of just give it a go, like there's so many cool effects paints, and I'm not here to sell anything by any stretch. I'm just being honest. It's just a different range, and you find so much more kind of stepping out your comfort zone every once in a while. You know, you do. It's the same with painting models. You know, have a go at painting some eyes. You know, try some fluoro paints. You know what I mean? Yeah. What's going to happen? It'll look shit and you start again, I suppose.
And how do you find, like, obviously you're not here to sell me, you're not here to sell, because this isn't sponsored by anybody, apart from a permission slip off my wife to let me do this tonight. But,
well, I didn't even have one, I just came out here, so you've seen how that went.
The other guys left.
You've got a curfew, Casey. Like, how would you rate the Green Stuff World paints for people that are maybe the 3 people that we maybe not watching who maybe want to change over? How would you rate that compared to Citadel paint?
If I was, you know, I'm not here to sell anything. You know, they don't pay me. You know, I'm semi-pro, so you know, I don't make anything from it. They're just amazing. You know, as I say, I've used Scale, I've used Citadel, and when I first started talking to Stu, he was like, when we send you these paints, you know, you won't use anything else. You know, once you've used these paints, I was like, yeah, right, okay, of course. This is coming from the guy who is sponsored by Green Stuff World. And no word of lie, when they turned up, they're just brilliant. You know, they've changed the formula, and there's loads of, as I say, loads of really cool effects paints that I found that, like, I don't know if you've seen it, I did that Crimson Fist Marine with, like, metallic armour.
Yeah.
You know, that's black undercoat, 2 coats of this paint, and a couple of dot highlights. For the tutorial, I had to extend it by putting a couple of highlights on. You know, because it's just magic in a bottle kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I just thought, if you were painting an army of Crimson Fist, and you could paint 10 of them with 2 coats of that on, fill the details in, and they look that good. You know, if you tried to do that with the Citadel paint, there's nothing for it. You know, you'd have to undercoat it silver, go over it with something, gloss varnish it. You know, the same with like OSL and stuff, there's so many little tools and fluoro paints, and you know, they do a bit of everything. So you can, it's a one-stop shop, and that's what I really like. It's not necessarily the like painting the cloth or painting the guns. It's all them things that you think you'll never be able to paint, like metallic armor, OSL, NMM, you know, all them little tricks they've got in a bottle, which is just great, you know.
Yeah, it's an eye-opener for me, because I very rare, like, I'm only slowly venturing out of the Citadel safety net.
Yeah.
Like, I picked up some Dirty Down Rust a couple months back.
What's a product? Yeah.
That's absolutely outstanding.
Like, what did you do before that? You know,
yeah.
I got like the Valero Rust kit, which, you know, you have to apply 6 coats of this, 4 coats of that, chicken medium, all this, all that. But the Dirty Down stuff, the Goblin Hut stuff is just, again, it's one of them products that's just like, right, I can now just paint rust on everything.
Yeah.
You know, just put so much depth into your models, knowing that the tools are there. And, you know, I'm sure some of them don't work. For, like, a lot of the scale paints were great, some weren't. But like with the Green Stuff World stuff, you know, I've only just, when I first got them, I didn't bother with any of the effects paints. And now I've sort of started with them. They've, you know, I'm cutting loads of corners. And I don't know if it's doing me any favours on Instagram. People think I'm cheating. But even if I am cheating, they look cool.
That's the end result, isn't it? At the end of the day, we all want them to look good.
That's it. Doesn't matter how you get there. Quicker the better for me.
Yeah.
So because we're on the Green Stuff World, I've just got a question here that came in through the chat with Nymph, who's also going to be on in a few weeks on the interrogation or the whatever you call it. She's asking, is the Dreamstuff World paints and dropper bottles?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Which, you know, again, I was one of them. I don't know if it was because of nostalgia and a sheer sense of Citadel till I die.
Yeah.
I was like, I hate dropper bottles. Fucking hate dropper bottles. And now I must have saved about £100 on paint, not just clagging the tops up. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, they're all in dropper bottles with agitators in or whatever they're called. You know, the weird marble.
So, obviously, you said that you're married. How does your wife cope with your hobbies?
Yeah, she's totally supportive. Like, you know, I'm like Steptoe. I'm a hoarder, a collector. You know, toys, Hot Wheels, Lego, painting. You know, I'm bouncing off the walls, and she really is the opposite. So, you know, she's so supportive, and you know, especially with the painting, because I've got my own business, so I work 5 days. And when I signed up for the Green Stuff World stuff and the commission stuff, you've just got to make time for it. So, you know, she does. She's amazing, you know, because I have to put my weekend and my nights into it at the moment. So, you know, cramming some drinking in between all of the above, you know. So, yeah, no, she's great.
And where do you see yourself being? Like, how do you see yourself progressing in the hobby? Where would you like to be in, say, a year and 3 years? Where would you like to be in the next few years?
For a job. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, if I can do this, if I can get out of bed and do this every morning, wow. So, you know, that's the goal. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be commission painting, or, you know, if you could be a bit of commission painting, a bit of the Green Stuff World stuff, and a bit of something else, and a bit of something else. If it could pay the bills, it'd be great. I mean, the hard thing is, if you've got a job that already does pay the bills, you know, how much does hobby painting pay? And if you're doing it every day, is it still a hobby? You know, that's the thing. And for me, you know, I'm not going to lie. I you know, people say, oh, you know, I do 2 hours a day and that's enough. I can get up in the morning and just not stop. You know, I don't get bored. I can do 9-10 hours in a row and I'm just still as happy as when I sat down. So I don't personally, I think, you know, you're either that way out or you're not. You know, I'm hyperactive and over enthusiastic, to say the least. So for me, I think it'd really suit me. I could get up every morning and do it. So that'd be nice. But if not, just doing what I'm doing now with, you know, loads more followers and mates, I suppose.
And tell me this, like, obviously, the big question that everybody's asking themselves isn't about Putin and Ukraine war and as the world going into global recession. Are you happy enough for female Space Marines to be the 2 lost legions within the community? And what's your take? What's your take on female Space Marines?
The burning question.
Burning question.
You know, who am I to cast an opinion on this? If I've painted loads of female Space Marines, I'm happy. I'm a big tick. Count me in. Sign me up, pay me, and I'll paint them. Done.
Pay me, yeah. Pay me in there. Get the word pay me in there.
Yeah. No, I've just done some, didn't I? I did those female alphas, which I think half the community were like, they're cool, and the other half were like, what the are they? But I like it. I've tried painting female heads as well, and I prefer painting Space Marine armour, so why not mix the two up?
The thing is, I did watch a video where I think it was the painting hobby, whoever won that, Baldy, Peaches, whatever his bloody name is, and he had on one of the female creators, and she said that they actually made female Space Marines back in the day. So that's
all right, okay.
She said,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Let's have this right. I mean, the Votan figures for me, you know, if we're painting Votan, get some female Space Marines made. You know, bring back Chaos Dwarfs. If we're painting that rubbish, let's go.
Chaos
you know what I mean? Bring them on.
See, for me personally, I think like the 2 lost legions are 2 female Space Marines, where the Emperor told them to do something, and she just went off and did her own thing, and that was it. The 2 female Primarchs. It's 2 female Primarchs, and they just went rogue. Do you know what I mean? They just went off script.
Not to be seen again.
not to be, they're in a huff because the Emperor never took out the dishes. He never walked the dog if he has a dog.
They forgot to plug him back in.
He forgot.
Didn't put the kids to bed. Yeah.
No, I'm for it. I think bring back some new models of those. There's loads of models they should bring back, but you know, another version of a Space Marine might not be at top of the agenda, but if they did them, I'd like them. I
Go on.
prefer a female Space Marine rather than another sisters model. I'm kind of like a more beefy kind of, you know,
Muscle.
WE version. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't buy the whole, well, you've got like Sisters of Silence, that's the female Space Marine. No, they're just like crazy nuns. Like, that's just
agreed, absolutely agreed. Yeah, we need proper, or maybe just squads and mixed. You know, let's be bang on trend. Let's have a half female, half male, half alien kill team all in Space Marine armor. You know, like the Fellowship of the Ring. You know, like one Tau, one. You know.
I'm going to jump here on this. I'm going to jump in here on this. If you could bring back one thing from years and years ago, those old White Dwarf, back of the White Dwarfs, back of the store corner, mail order things, one model, bring it back. What is it?
On top of my head, first response. Do you remember the Gene Stealer model that was sat on the throne and it had a guy whispering to him?
Yeah.
Yes, the old Patriot. Yeah.
I want a new version of that. That's what I want.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be good in the Gene Stealer cult army.
That probably.
Do you remember the old limousine they used to drive as well?
Pardon?
Do you remember the old limousine that they used to have as their APC?
Yeah, totally, yeah. So those
ridiculous
models, yeah, those models, totally. I mean, they brought some cool ones, but the Noise Marine was a big one for me. I mean, you know, there's been loads they've brought back, but yeah, Chaos Dwarfs and probably that Gene Stealer model, whatever it was called. The cloak.
Yeah, I would like them to bring. For me, I would like them to bring back those kind of lizard men that they had like years ago, like, and it's like old space lizards. I think I remember seeing
Sauros or something. Yeah.
But bring them back.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like, if you're bringing back the midgets, do you know what I mean? Bring back the lizard people. Do you know what I mean?
Agreed. Yeah, jump in. Yeah, I mean, there's so much coming out all the time, and you know, they obviously release wherever the money is, but you know, I do think there's so much stuff they could do, but you know.
I mean, that's the thing at the moment, isn't it? They sort of see themselves more as a miniature company than a war games company. So they've got so much history, they can just delve into it and pick stuff here, there, and everywhere.
And then, like on the site as well, you sort of get these old represses, like I was saying before, like Commissar Yarrick and the old Blood Bowl teams. I was thinking, you know, if you just released, like, did a quiz on Insta, you know, get on their Instagram account, you know, what do you want to see again? You know, the old Death Jester, the old Harlequin, and re-release it. People would buy them, wouldn't they? You know, people would buy them. You know, it's like these Kill Team and 40k boxes. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm jumping on bandwagons left, right, and centre. As soon as one drives past, I'm on the back. But like, you know, like another Kill Team, another 40k with another load of miniatures. It's like, you know, it's just a way to sell the boxes, the figures. And don't get me wrong, the new Terminators are nice. But, you know, bring something else out. You know, I don't want to see any more Lord of the Rings miniatures, please. Ever again. I'm done. Stick a fork in me.
Yeah, like, I think I would love to see. I just love to see some of the more like old school stuff come back myself. Like, so I say I was a big Hero Quest fan, so it was like really good to see like Hero Quest being kind of remade and re-put back out there. Kind of brought me back to my nostalgia days. Or
that's the thing.
Playing it
When
myself.
they brought that back, like they should have just done Hero Quest again.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't think they really had to change much with that. I think if they just re-brought it out, everyone would have bought it. I tell you what, though, a boxed game of Space Crusade like Curse City, that would be cool. Like with all new miniatures. You know.
Yeah, that would be good.
You know, what were the add-ons? There was Gene Stealer, something else, wasn't there? But the Deathwing, I think, was an add-on, wasn't it?
It was Deathwing, yeah.
There's a load of add-ons, but yeah, they should. I mean, I know they've redone Space Hulk, but
because like my introduction to fantasy was like the old role-playing dice books. Like
D&D and
like Steve Jackson and Neil Livingston when they did those adventure books, and you would get a dice and then you would just ignore the dice roll and just give yourself maximum health and maximum luck and maximum everything else anyway.
Ended and work backwards, or was that just
very much. You'd have like 5 fingers and different pages.
That'd be a better book. Choose your own end and work backwards.
But I loved those books, and then like I think it was my granny that bought me Hero Quest and Space Crusade, and then I ended up saving up pocket monies and buying the Hero Quest advance packs and like Keller Keep and the Lich Squad and the Ultras returning. Like I think there was like 4 or 5 expansions.
Skeletons and undead in, weren't there?
Yeah, Keller's Keep I think was one, and as the Witch Lord of Islith or something was another one, and another one.
Yeah, cool.
Like, I remember, like, I would love it. Like, if you look at now, like, see if I was actually a bit switched on and never just ruined all the guys I painted. Like, those things are worth an absolute fortune now. An absolute.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I go on eBay now, and you're like, oh, I wonder if you can still get. And you can tell, you know, loads of people have been in the loft, got all their old figures out. You can now strip them with something, you know. So I'm the sucker that buys them, you know. Oh, I remember that from when I was a kid. It's only 418 quid.
Yeah, I know.
I've only had 3 bottles of wine. I'll buy that.
I've got this guy from one of the advanced packs, so the Hero Quest packs. It's like one of the older packs.
Oh, cool.
Right, so I'm thinking of like paint, like he just needs primed and painted, like, but it's like pretty cool, like. But I'd just love to go back to those days and just appreciate, because you don't really appreciate when you're older. And as you said yourself,
it's a game, innit? Yeah. You smash hell out of it with your next door neighbour, you know, dip them in umbral paints and all the rest of it. But yeah, totally, it'd be nice just to go back and get them all out and have a go, wouldn't it? And
like for myself personally speaking, like as you said earlier at the start, like COVID got me back into the hobby as well, and it does help your mental health, like giving yourself that like couple of hours just to sit and go away with your wee guys. Like, what about yourself? Like, no, I don't think anybody really knows, the 4 people that are watching. Like, how did you get into like proper into painting? Was it through lockdown, or was it just like a gradual thing since that guy molested you who was trying to bang your sister?
Oh, fuck off. So no, right. For me, I've for years and years, I'd sort of dabbled in and out from like the age of 18 through my 20s. I was big into 3rd edition 40k when that was out. That was my thing, and I still look back on that with proper nostalgia eyes. That was like the love of my life, apart from her in there. Don't tell her I said that. But then, like, I had a few mates in and out with me as well. I think we got up to like 5th, everyone stopped playing. I'd still sort of had stuff saved. And then just before I moved in with Sarah, my girlfriend, I threw so much stuff out. I was just like, sold some of it on eBay. I had the entire Black Reach box, which had the old flying helicopter orcs and all sorts of stuff. And I was just like, I sold what I could. What wasn't selling, I threw away. Moved in with her. We lived together a couple of years. Lockdown hit, and then you remember the you know they do the little magazines, the Hatchet Partwork ones where they like
you get
the one
like, you know, like either model each week or some paint or whatever. Yeah,
they came about, and I was like, oh shit, that's a good, easy, cheap way of getting back into it, and that's what I did. And that was like just before the lockdowns hit, and got big into it back that way. She doesn't quite get it. She's like, why are you painting your weird little model soldiers? But she understands it's a switch off for me. It's something I like doing. It's something that just every now and again just zone out of life, sit in the kitchen for a couple of hours and get rid of some bits.
You know, I'll come home from work and I'll be crabby or whatever, and she says you just notice as soon as you sit down in your chair and start painting, like your mood just completely changes. Yeah. And I've never really had a hobby, you know, I'm not that into sport or whatever, but I've never really had that hobby where you can just sit down and, you know, it's you and you do your zone out, don't you? It's really hard to explain if you don't do it, I suppose.
It's like a little. Sorry, go on, Todd.
No, you're on.
It's like, I think it's like you were saying earlier. You can just sort of sit down. You can focus on one thing. Life doesn't creep in because you're just thinking, I've got this tiny thing in front of me, and if I fuck the eyes up, Dunk's going to take the piss out of me.
Yeah, that's it. That's the worry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't spill the old oil.
Every time I put something online, he just messages me. That's shit. It's like, cheers, mate.
No.
I mean, for me as well.
No. It's what you qualify either put shit post or good post. And to be fair, you've had 1 or 2 good posts this week. So see when you are both painting, right? See for myself when I'm painting, like I'll be painting in my living room with the missus. She's doing some crocheting, which I said I would never say on Instagram, but she crochets like fuck.
Like an electric.
Aye. Like, I like to watch TV shows when I'm painting. What do you guys have in the background when you're doing your hobby? Is it like podcast, books, or TV shows? What is it do you have in the background? Music or whatever? What is it you do?
It's normally something that I've seen a million times. So, you know, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, just something that's super easy. And I'm not going to lie, Radio 4 normally, or nothing. That's it. It's either quiet, Radio 4, or something so familiar that I don't even have to look up. It's just background.
Yeah, nail on the head there. It's either a film I love and I've seen a million times and I ain't got to worry about it. It's just brilliant background noise, or nothing, just silent.
I love it.
And I used to think I was like in a weird little world of my own doing that. So it's nice to know I'm not the only psycho out there just sits in quietness.
That's at least half of the time as well. Like, go upstairs, open the window, and that's it. Just silence. It's nothing more perfect, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, I get sick of the sound of my own voice, so, you know, it's nice to not hear me talk for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Would you yourself, Richard, would you be into the lore side of the hobby much? Like, do you listen to books? Do you read books? Or do you, like, listen to, like for me, personally, like, Lewitton, 09, and obviously Westhammer, two of the biggest lore guys out there for me. Like, do you indulge much in the lore? Is it just purely the aesthetics of painting?
To be honest, as a kid, I was like obsessed with it, you know. I played the games, so you read the rules, you buy the codexes or the whatever, you know, and I was obsessed with it, you know. And then when I got back in, I bought all the codexes of things I was painting. All the older ones, you know, on eBay that weren't 35 quid for a book, you know. So I bought like the old Death Guard one for 5 quid or whatever. So I do sort of dip in and out of it, and it's more the stuff I'm painting. A, to make sure I'm painting it right, and two, it's cool kind of reading about some of the characters. But I haven't, I tell you what, I downloaded a couple, I'll be honest, I downloaded a couple of the audio books that I got recommended, but they were acted out. So it wasn't just some guy reading them, it was like guys doing the voices and shit. And it was like, you know, this one about Nurgle on this planet. So all the guys that were Nurgle were like, you know, and we've landed on this planet. You know, and like the Nurglings were like, come on, sir, let's go over. You know, they all had like Disney voices. So I think I should read some, but the short answer is not as much as I'd like to. But I do gen up a little bit, but I haven't read many of the books.
If you're looking into getting lore and you're maybe going to drive, I would definitely recommend Lewitton, because he has some of his bits, he's so in depth with his. Oh
yeah, hit me with the DM me with a list after, definitely, of some ones you've read that are good, because I'll
No, this guy does like deep lore dives on YouTube.
Oh,
so,
I see. Right, it's not a writer, it's a guy.
No, so if you want, like, I think there's like 5 episodes about the Emperor of Mankind, and there's like 2 episodes of like the Grey Knights and. Like, and Westhammer
would
do
Google shit as well, and I'm like, I didn't know who Grey Knights were or who Custodes were. You know, I just thought it was like Space Marines and dinner jackets, you know, the posh boys. So I had to do a bit of research on those guys. But yeah, no, I do love the lore. That's half of it. I think that's why I like the Games Workshop models over all the others. It's the massive background history in it. It's the detail, and that's what makes the model so cool. I think it is part and parcel, definitely.
So, I know we're approaching the hour mark here, and I was going to try and keep it to an hour. If you're happy enough to go on for a wee bit longer, I'm happy enough. But I know that we will get wives, and you're going to get locked out in 20 minutes. So, like, I've asked another 1 or 2 questions just to kind of round out like the chat here. So, like, I'm a massive music fan. I know that you're a music fan yourself, because you and myself, Richard, we like transfer songs back and forth to each other every Thursday. So. And I know more or less everybody loves the Beatles. So I know that you absolutely despise the Beatles, like myself. This is true, all true. This. So what are your top 5 most hated Beatles songs of all time?
That's
a good question. That's a good question.
Anything with Paul McCartney singing for a start. You know, any of his for a start. I mean. You know, it's easy for me to name like the 3 I like, I suppose. But, you know, the Sgt. Pepper, I've tried to listen to the album so many times. You know, I don't need a repeat of the first song at the end because it was so rubbish first time round. You know, it's not for me. It might be a generational thing, and I'll probably get flogged for it. But for me, it's Emperor's New Clothes. I just don't get it. You know, I quite like I Want to Hold Your Hand. That's it. I think that's the one Beatles song that I think's okay. What are your 5, Doug?
My top 5 hated Beatles songs are pretty much any Beatles songs that you can think of. I just hate them all. I don't like the Beatles at all.
Yeah, well, this is how we bonded over music. We were talking about something, and I just said, I don't really like the Beatles. I'm the only man on the earth, and you were like, well, you've just found a mate.
It's like the whole Hey Jude.
My wife's just commented, the Beatles are shit. She don't like
The Beatles
either.
Like, the Beatles are shit, but the thing is, like, that whole Hey Jude song, that annoys the shite out of me because it's played at every fucking football ground. It's about some guy whose dad cheated on him with some woman, and he's made up a fucking song about it. It's like, fuck off.
I mean, you know, there's also a song about IKEA furniture, Norwegian wood. I'm not having that either. But yeah, absolutely. I absolutely agree. I'm on it. I'm all over that.
And my last question for yourself, Richard, is if you've got one tip to like help people progress for the 3 years that we have left, including your life, what is the one tip that you could give me and Casey to improve our shit painting?
I know this is a massive fucking cliche, but practice. Yeah. It's, you know, and also, actually, my biggest tip is just paint the hard models. Paint what you want to paint. Don't put anything off. You'll only get better. You know, if you want to paint Marty, paint Marty. You know, paint. Just go for it. Just literally paint what you want to paint. Harder the better. You'll progress so much quicker by cutting out just edge highlighting for the next 6 months. You know,
Casey, do you have anything sitting there? For myself, it's typhus. Is there anything that's sitting there that you're scared of to paint?
I do have a typhus, but I've already put my name on him. Sorry, mate. I might have a couple. I might have a couple of Nid things, maybe, if you ever branch out. And I've definitely got 1 or 2 Necrons I'm probably not going to touch. So I'll have when I'm back indoors, I'll have a raid and I'll see what I can send you.
No. What I'm saying is there anything that you're scared to paint? Oh, that's what I'm asking.
For me?
Yeah.
For me? No. I thought you were asking me to send you some shit. Apologies. Am I Primarchs? Any Primarch? I would love to get my hands on a Magnus the Red because I've always loved the Thousand Suns. So yeah, they're just fucking space Egyptians. But
so cool. I want to do a yellow one.
Yeah.
I want to do a big bird one. I really want to do a yellow
I would love to like get to grips with it and just do something brilliant or mad with it. But then you look at all the people doing it online, and you're like 10 hours on an arm. I'm like, I ain't got fucking patience for that.
Painted. That's the tip. I mean, I'm a massive hypocrite. I've got the black coach. That's mine. That's my one. Even though I said paint what you should paint whatever you want to paint. That's the one I'm like, I'm going to become an airbrush master before I start that. Mm-hmm. So I have got one, but you should paint Magnus and I should paint that. That should be the thing.
Yeah, and I should paint my typhus.
Yeah, you should paint your typhus.
Damn it.
Yeah. Right, guys. Yeah. I'm going to head off here. Is there anything you want to ask, Casey? Because I felt as though I've kind of just asked all the questions. Is there anything you want to ask?
No, yeah, fine, mate. I'll be honest. You covered off a lot of what I would have suggested. I know I was going to ping you some questions in a day just in case I couldn't get on. But here's one I just, when we've been talking about the generations of stuff from getting better, where we were years and years ago to where we are now with like the quality of stuff. Golden yellow as a colour. Do you remember it?
The old one, the Citadel one.
Yeah. Was that your most hated colour ever? Because it was mine.
It was practically see-through, wasn't it? It was really impossible to put on.
It was like painting with piss. Yeah, that's the only thing I can describe.
Yeah, and the old, I don't know if it was mithril silver or there was another silver. It was either mithril or storm, the original storm. So that was the same. Where you painted it on, and it was basically see-through pigment with glitter in. But that yellow was the same. It was just see-through on. It was horrible.
Yeah, it was absolutely horrible. Awful. And that's how they used to teach you to paint a
Goblin green. I want Goblin green back. Like, there's no paint that's the same. It's like the McDonald's sauce. It's almost like Games Workshop. Like, we're not telling you how it was made. That was another one. Back then, everyone's paid everything Goblin green. It's awful. But I just love it so much. Yeah. It's like your first girlfriend. It's like, you know why it didn't work, but you're still very fond of her. You know what I mean?
Every base Goblin green, didn't matter what army it was, everything Goblin green base.
Yeah. Bit of sand, then dry brush it with sunburst yellow. Done.
Yeah, that's it. You're done.
That's grass. I might do my next week stuff tutorial as a Goblin green base. 2 steps.
Right, well, guys, I just want to say a big thanks to my Chaos Spawn, Casey, aka Penchhammer, Big thanks to Just Your Average Painter for jumping on and going away to pick up some prostitutes and murder them. And a big thanks to Inferno Miniatures.
Thanks,
You
guys.
can find them on Instagram. Great
Rich.
commission painter, Dream Stuff World, and runner of competitions. So just want to say thanks again for coming on. It's an absolute pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, guys.
Love you guys.
See you later on.
Nice to catch you again, mate.
Bye.
See you later.